for Inter fans in the league. They continue with the gap at the top of the table. You see what it means to them. The group is very happy. They scored 3 goals. This is a result-oriented business. So at the end of the day, they won't care how they get the job done. But in reality, maybe this is unpopular opinion, it's probably one of the worst games I've seen them play all year. Very naive group. I think the fact that they get this win in so-called big game, they 14. They haven't won against the big teams. I think they learn nothing more about themselves now than that in the biggest moments that I'm confused still about the group. They have the ball with a goal lead and they're going to try to score the other goal. Though Martinez and Thuram were very poor today. Barella crying all over the field, poor. Enrique, poor. They don't have the replacement for him. So listen, 3 points, yeah, top of the table for sure. But if you watch the actual performance, aside from this guy, I thought he was excellent on the night. No, they were poor tonight.
I completely disagree with Grella. When you look at Inter right now, they're top of the league. This game for me wasn't about how Inter are going to play or style of play. We know what Inter are. We've known what Inter are for a very long time. They haven't diverted from the foundation that they've built with this football club. This was, for me, getting the result by any means necessary. And they did that. They found a way to finally get a result over one of the top 6 or top 4, however you want to categorize it.
Did you agree with the performance aspect?
I don't think terrible. I don't think they got worse.
I don't think the performance was that bad because the most important thing was to get the win and keep that lead in Serie A. They did that. And I thought DeMarco had a great game just to go with the breakdown that you gave on him for the cross that he put in for that second goal.
Good to have you with us, by the way. If you're joining us on YouTube, welcome along. Everyone, where do you fall on this, Marco, between the two?
Yeah, I understand the take from Grella, because if you think about that Inter had one extra man for 45 minutes, I did learn more about Juventus than I did about Inter. I mean, the resilience that Juventus showed, to me, was unbelievable. The character that they could fight in these moments, the fact that they got the game back tie 2-2, and we'll talk about the red card, that none of us agree with it being a red card. But I do agree with Nigel in the sense that Inter had to find a way to get this done. And it is the bench that's the difference this year for Inter and Christian Chivu. And it's hard to not be happy for them in that moment because it's the 2 guys that he decided on. It's Francesco Pio Esposito, who's a player that we were looking over. Inter was going to go sign some big center forward. Chivu said, hold on, I work with this guy in the youth team. Let's put him in. He is a threat in and of itself. The fact that you could put this man onto the pitch, you whip crosses in games where things are not going your way, he's an outlet. That has to be said. I love it. And then Zielinski. Zielinski is also the story of Christian Chivu. He himself said, I was 3rd choice under Simone Inzaghi. He was not considered by his last coach. He's become a different player. He is one of the best players for Inter so far this season. I do understand, Grella, what you mean by that, because I have some question marks on the way that they manage the match. But to finally overcome that hump of winning the big games, I think is the most important thing.
The reality situation is you play at home. You're the best team. You scored 57 goals. You scored 16 more than Juventus, who scored the 2nd most goals. You had the lead. You squandered the lead, right? You have a man up, but where you should actually be a man down. You have a man up. You come on the second half, you get another lead, and then you concede another goal to Juventus. A 10-man Juventus. Where is in an Italian team as good as Inter are, as more dominating they are, the depth that they have as well? Keep the football. You control the tempo of the game. You slow it down. You take the zing out of the game. You hit on the counter. You end the game. At the end of the game, when there's 1 minute left, you protect the football. You protect the football. You go to the corners. You go like you're going to attack. You come back. You pass the ball around. You kill the game off. When you see exciting games like that, usually means something's wrong in Italy.
But in the past, you said Inter's toothless. They can't get over the line. Today, they did get over the line.
But if you're Lautaro Martinez today, you come off the field today, do you think you played well? If you're Thuram, do you think you played well?
But it's not about the individual. You're making it about the individual. This is about Inter leading Serie A.
You go to 10-man Juventus.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because...
They can't score against Cagliari.
Do you know what, though? The thing is, as well, is you're minimising. This is a derby d'Italia. This is a derby game with the passion of both sides. That plays a part. This isn't just an average game. This is a derby with a lot of rivalry, a lot of hatred between the two. You've played in derby games yourself in England. You know there's a different atmosphere when it comes to such a fierce rivalry between 2 teams. So for me, I understand what you're saying in this performance, maybe one or two individuals, but it's about the team. They got over that hump because I guarantee you everyone's talking to say Inter are great, but when it comes to playing the big boys, they struggle. So that is still in there mentally in the dressing room. It was all about just getting over that hump. They did. Lucky for them they did, because if they didn't, you would be absolutely destroying them right now.
45 minutes of man up at home with the lead, and that was poor.
How many Inter fans right now do you think will be moaning about getting a win today? How many will be moaning or bothered about the performance?
The ones that understand football will be worried. The ones that don't, they'll be happy about today.
Well, if you didn't see the game and you're wondering how Juventus got down to 10 men, it was a huge talking point. We are live on YouTube, as we mentioned. The referee, what a scandal situation today. Here is just a reminder of the 2 yellows that we saw for Kalulu, because you all disagree pretty much with both of these, right?
First one, not a yellow for me. Again, just a simple play. Doesn't, for me, it just irritates me when I see players go down so easy. This is the one that really irks me the most there, where the referee gets that completely wrong. He gives a yellow card, and let's not forget the Inter player there, is it Bastoni, telling the referee that that's a booking. This one, there is nothing in there. Nothing in there.
No way.
If anything, Bastoni should be booked for simulation there.
Well, we know that obviously VAR can't overturn it because it was 2 yellow cards. Here is our rules expert, Christina Uncle, with us. Christina, you said at halftime the referee didn't get that second one right. Do you still feel the same way after a review on this one?
I still feel the same way, but I think everyone's still missing the fact of why is he raising his arm and putting it in, right? So at the end of the day, he's pretty much forcing the referee to have to make a decision. The referee doesn't have the best angle on it. Everything about it feels like it, it's sold like it. You can't blame the referee in the moment for making that decision. We have time. We have 4 or 5 different angles that the assistant referee doesn't have, that the center referee doesn't have. Everything feels like a yellow card in live play. When we replay it back, it's not. But then it goes back to the same thing. Why is he putting himself in a situation to force the referee to have to make that decision, whether it's yellow or not? So I don't agree with it on taking a look at review, but I can see why the referee called it at that moment. But we also have to put the conversation back on the player. Why did he then put his arm up and basically at least make contact on the chest side of it?
Christina, one thing is, I think we always get frustrated when there's no consistency, where in the same match, the same foul is not called. At the end of the match, there's a chance for Juventus, and I believe it's Diouf who pulls it down. I think we're going to show it right now. If that's a yellow card and a foul, how is this one in the end not given as the same? I think we're going to see it here.
Yeah, it comes at the tail end of this play.
Who pulls down Boga there when Boga chests the ball in the second phase of play, right here. Chest it past him, Jufrey pulls him right edge of the box.
There's more contact there.
There is.
A foul.
And the referee's got a good vision of that.
This is a foul,
Christina?
right?
Yeah, so there is definitely more contact in that one, right? And so then the conversation is like, does he have the possession of play? The other one, we're talking about a quick counterattack, ball's at his feet. He has possession here. He plays the ball in. And this is where kind of we go back and forth and we can make that argument about are these going to be yellows or are these going to be not, right? If he had not given this yellow card, but let's say he didn't give the yellow card previously, he doesn't give a yellow card here, we're not having a conversation about it now. But because he gave that yellow card earlier when there was less contact, now we're looking at this one saying he had set that threshold here. So I'm with you, Marco, in the sense of the consistency and where we set the bar. Then we have this expectation that anything above and beyond that should be given on that one. So this one, let's say we would take that first play away. I would say no on this one. But when you take it and you compare it literally right next to the one that was given before, that's where you get these arguments from.
Fair enough.
Now, Christina, on that referee's performance today, if we gave him a grade out of 10 and 10 being fantastic and obviously 1 being absolutely poor, I would grade the referee today's performance a 3. What would you give the referee?
How does he get a 3?
I think Grella had like a -5 on him, but I would probably go with the 5, right? This isn't an easy game. There's a lot that this game gives to you that isn't just natural refereeing. It's a lot of management, as you guys say. There's a lot of embellishment that's going on. So that's why I give the referee 5, because some of those decisions there were decisions that aren't natural phases of play, but you're dealing with those kinds of emotions and keeping that consistency. But for me, even the man management, I got him at a 5.
Well, wait, what's Grella give him?
Don't worry about it. Grella's still trying to cool down. Let's let him cool down.
Show up the amount of fingers that you would give him.
Go on. All right.
Thank God he chose that finger.
Just for showing up.
Actually being on the
Showing up on
pitch.
time.
I have one more question for you, because we have this discussion all the time, and we know as players, right, when we have a good referee that's very firm with the decisions that he wants to make, we know instantly as players how to respond. Okay, this referee's not going to mess around. He's going to let a lot go. How would you help get rid of embezzlement in the game right now, with too many players now diving and making it very difficult for referees? How do referees put a stop to diving in the game and players going down easily?
No, you hit it in the head. Like, these are the clips that we go back into referee camps on the weekends, right? And it's a point of emphasis that's putting on it. So one, the work has to happen off the field. It has to happen with the league. It has to happen with those conversations. And then the punishments after the game of saying the league is going to self-impose a fine or a penalty on them. And that's usually a monetary penalty because of the embellishment that was not caught in the game. That starts to help eliminate it during the game. Not always, but at the end of the day, then if you see these referees, and honestly, some of these individuals start getting what we call an MO, right? Modus operandi, where you're kind of expecting that their contact is to be that embellishment, and then it works against them. So it's just those officials kind of keeping that frame hard. And like you said, making those decisions, and probably making those decisions in more of the game critical penalty area kind of decisions, game decisions that change the outcome of the game, and probably being a bit more confident saying, I'm going to want to see more on it than just calling it. And if VAR brings me in, sure, fine, bring it. VAR brings me in, but my on-field decision is going to make me have to have more of a contact or more of a play for me to make that decision.
Yeah, I just want to clear up. I wanted to say embellishment, not embezzlement. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
My bad.
Christina, I have something for you as well. We saw Antonio Conte earlier this week say that it's a really bad year for Italian referees. Where would you rank the Italian referees amongst the other top 5 leagues in Europe? Are they at the bottom of the list? Would you agree with that? Are they at the top?
I wouldn't agree with that. And you know what? If you ask every single league, if you ask Premier League, right, they're going to say the referees are having a horrendous year. So everyone thinks it. Everyone at MLS says that they have a horrendous year. So I don't think it's that. I do think that the fouls have gone from how we've been covering a Serie A over the years, have become a little bit more, I would say, sensitive, or a little bit less in substance than what we're giving. So I think we do need to move the pendulum a little bit more in expecting more contact to be happen before we send it down for VAR. But they're not the only ones experiencing it. Every single year, the pendulum swings a little bit here, a little bit there. But I think overall, and then you got to remember the culture of Serie A, right? It is a lot more, I'm going to use the word dramatic and emotional, right? And there's more emotions that go through, right? The referee doing this all the time would not fly here in Major League Soccer. Yet in Serie A, you can do this to a player and it works. So I wouldn't agree that they're horrendous in any way. I just think it's a season, it's a year, and there's always an excuse to blame things on referees at times.
We're not dramatic at
Yeah,
all.
Grella, stop doing this to me when the camera's off. Stop doing that to me.
This is how we share love.
Christina, my question is, I feel bad sometimes for the referees. Like, the referee had a poor performance today, but I feel bad for him because I understand the one where Kalulu puts his arm up in full speed. That's got to look like he's stopping the counterattack, and that's got to look like a second yellow. I understand that. But I think, is there a possibility at the end of the year or in moving in the future that they can change the rules of the way they use the VAR? They could change the rules that the referees see certain fouls, because if they go back and look at that one, I think it's clear that they pull it back, and then the game gets, because up to about 42 minutes, that's when the red card came. Up to 42 minutes, we were watching a fantastic game of football. We were watching one of the best games of the year, and two teams really slugging it out, and then this play happens and it kills the whole game. So I feel bad for referees because I think the technology is putting them in a situation where they can't win.
Yeah, and I mean, the FIFA General Assembly is just getting ready. This isn't something on the agenda right now, is to consider whether or not second yellows should be reviewed by VAR. I think you're going to, quite honestly, not maybe in regular play, but most likely when these decisions happen, they usually happen in FIFA Club World Cups, they happen in World Cups, they happen in the men's Euros, that they start kind of moving the needle, asking whether or not VAR should be used for second yellows that obviously naturally turn into a red in these situations. I just think at the end of the day, the whole point of the introduction of technology is to help them make game critical decisions. I know we're going to say this is a game critical decision, and I don't necessarily disagree, but at the end of the day, you're also not going to make refereeing 100% perfect, right? It's never going to get every single decision correct. And so there's going to be some of these that are not going to feel that great. But that's just that you have to balance the misuse of the time of the VAR technology and slowing the game down while keeping the game up, and also balancing the appreciation for it. So I don't think it's easy, but I think I think that's something that should be entertained more and should continue to be trialed, because then it could avoid these situations where we're all sitting and saying, yeah, that's not a second yellow, and that would be agreed upon universally.
Well said, Christina. Yeah, it does feel like there's a lot more pressure on that second yellow card, knowing that VAR obviously can't step in and overturn it. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, all. Appreciate it.
Okay, stay with us, everybody. Loads more to come. All the reaction from San Siro. It finishes 3-2 in the Derby d'Italia, putting Inter 8 points clear at the top of the Serie A table. Welcome back, everybody. So Inter extend their unbeaten streak to 13 in Serie A. Zielinski's goal secured all 3 points today for the Nerazzurri against a 10-man Juventus. Good to have you with us, everybody. We're also live on YouTube. Here's what Doug in Space had to say. Inter had to win a big game. Nigel is 100% right. DeMarco to Pio, Zielinski outside the 18, and the Enrique goal created an own goal. Sloppy win, but winning at San Siro against Juventus is a big win. You could agree with that, though, Grella. On paper,
their best player was the referee.
Oh my
Inter's
God.
best player today in the biggest game of the season was the referee. That's the facts. That's what I saw. I saw Inter play so poor so naive in that game. They're held up by the referee. They didn't take advantage. They showed no killer instinct. To me, they didn't answer any of the question. To me, they still haven't beaten the big team.
They answered the question.
No,
they did. It's not their fault.
If Juventus play with 11 men, they beat this Inter side today.
Okay, I'm not
much better than that.
Okay,
playing
but
ifs and buts at that point.
You could only do what's in front of you right now. They don't have no effect on what Juventus did and going down to 10 men. Not their doing. But they got the job done. Because if they didn't get the job done against a 10-man Juventus side, we would have a tremendous amount of questions for Inter. They had to win, knowing that Juventus were down to 10 men, and they got it done. If they made it hard work, it still doesn't matter. They got it done. It's the factor we needed. I agree with Marco, where for me, it's a performance from the Juventus side of things, where they can go away from this. Yes, they lost, but they can go with their head high, because that was a great performance. Even with chasing the game, they still made aggressive substitutions to try and get the win. So credit for Juventus. I think I learned a lot more from Juventus in the game overall. But for Inter's perspective, top of the league, we just have to win. Doesn't have to be pretty.
To Grella's point, it's not the first time you've all sat here and said Inter have been toothless, at the end of games that they should have won, whether it's against the top 5 or teams that they should beat. Is that a team that can win the Scudetto then, Grella, if they're not having good performances today, even with wins like this?
Yeah, they can win the Scudetto because you can beat the small teams. They're on fire. I'm not taking anything away. I come in here every week and I'm like this with the Inter flag every week because I like the way they play football. I think it's good for Italian football. But at the end of the day, we don't need to be here if all we have to do is look at the result and say, oh, yeah, the result, okay, it was a good result. No, but the performance, you have to look at the performance. Strip the result away. Let's say that we don't know what the result of that game was. If I just watched the game and you took the goals out of it, or you took the moments out of it, and I just watched the game from start to finish, I would say that Inter didn't deserve to win the game. And I'm convinced that if Juventus play with 11 men, they win that game.
And Inter
they
was
deserve
his
to take
Valentine,
something from the
by
game.
The way.
It's true.
Inter was my Valentine. I have the Inter flag all the time like this because I think they play good football. But today they didn't play.
We worked with Grella so many different times, right? This is the same guy who can't stand Barcelona, who play beautiful football, but they lose games. But the football that they play, you cannot deny, is beautiful. Crazy at times, but you can't stand that when they play beautiful football. Inter didn't play beautiful football. They got the job done, but that's a problem now today.
No, they didn't get the job done.
They got the job done. They won the game.
The referee got the job done for them.
Well, let's have a look at the highlights then, because there is so much from this game that we could talk about. It really lived up to the billing. It was a thriller in the first meeting of the season between the two, and there was no shortage of it today. Again, wasn't there, including this own goal to start us off?
Yeah, and it'll be Cambiasso with the own goal for me. A real stoppy play by Juventus early on in this game, giving the ball away cheaply. And again, I think there's enough opportunity there for Cambiasso and Juventus to deal better with it. Di Gregorio, they're making an absolute howler of this one there.
Oh, the leg.
I have no idea what he's trying to do there. And great start for Inter, but poor goal for Juventus to concede.
Jonathan David escaped this convo, by the way. We haven't talked about him losing the ball on the top of the box. But Juventus' response was fantastic. I think that this is what Nigel and I are talking about. It's the way that they responded to going down. Luis Enrique, he's been a liability for them all season long with Dumfries' injury. Cambiasso, credit to him for believing in that from the far post, and credit to Juventus in coming back.
Yeah, this is the play, the first yellow card. This is a foul. I don't think this is a yellow card at all. Kalulu's standing in his space. Okay, fine. Barella touches it away from him. They make contact. Okay, fine. It's a foul. I'm not sure it's a yellow. This one now is certainly not a yellow card. But I could see what the referee's seeing here. He's seeing like that Kalulu looks like he's stopping a counterattack. But when you get to watch it in slow motion, and he's saying, go watch it. Unfortunately, the rules state that you cannot go and re-watch this yellow card. Look right there. That's nothing. You can't knock down Bastoni with that kind of contact. But this is, again, this is what we're seeing now. Any contact, you throw yourself on the ground. More likely you get the call than not.
And again, 76 minutes now. Inter will come back into this. And Grella did a great Grelovich on DiMarco. We talk about the quality. That there is just world class. World-class delivery into the box there. Here Esposito gets up, and what a finish that is. And this is what you want from DiMarco, and the quality he brings higher up the pitch, that is what you judge him on. And again, I thought he had a good game today.
I want to see that so many times when they play the Italy qualifiers in March. And then how about this? Juventus with 10 men, suffering all game long. Manuel Locatelli was everywhere in this match. It's a brilliant first-time finish, and you could see the look on him.
And then Zielinski, who has been amazing for them. And also, Pio Esposito has been a real star for them. But watch Zielinski here with the technique. Little Cruyff touch, by the way.
Wow.
Then slams us with his left foot through the legs on purpose. This is not by mistake. He knows that Di Gregorio is accounting for Locatelli blocking that side of the goal. He purposely shoots it through his legs. He also has another guy in front of him. Nothing the goalkeeper can do there, and it's a fantastic finish.
So Inter, happy days for them. 8 points clear at the top of the Serie A table. Milan beat Pisa yesterday, and the Rossoneri still have that game in hand, which makes things really interesting, as we mentioned, for the Derby della Madonnina in a couple of weeks. Napoli remain in third place. Juventus creeping up towards them with Roma. And it's Napoli against Roma that we've got to look forward to tomorrow. I think Juventus are going to be frustrated, aren't they, all said and done, because they created so many chances today, and they had 10 men, and they were missing Kefa and Thuram. But look at these. They could, on maybe another day, they would have put a few more away.
Yeah, we've been saying that in the games against Atalanta, Cagliari, Lecce. It feels like this is a story. We mentioned it before the match. How many chances Juventus need to score goals? It's an issue. And I want to see if we have any chances of the center forward of Jonathan David in this game, because I'm failing to remember any. This one was a crucial one.
That one there should have just swung his leg over for goal. Weston there should have just swung that right, and then Sommer makes a good save again. Not just one, but then finally he swings his leg at it. But by that time, the chance has gone begging there. This one there, just there, open goal. Put the whole goal. Tries to be too cute and too clever. Big chances missed by Juventus, then especially in a derby game like this. You talk about two big giants of Italian football, and with the atmosphere and everything that comes with it.
This is later on in the game. They get a Cope Miners chance here. Pio goes and heads them. Actually, they make some contact. That hurts a lot. But Juventus just, they went down a man in the 42nd minute. It never looked like they were down a man, except for like maybe a 15-minute period in the second half where Inter started possessing it and playing it side to side and putting balls in the box. So, but I just thought that Juventus hunt the ball, unbelievable spirit, unbelievable characters to go after the game. They never looked like they were down a man, like I said, until that span. And they got hard done by, for sure. They deserve something more from the game. 83rd minute, when Locatelli scores that one, you think, okay, they've got a chance here. But you could see they were so spent at the end of the game for what they put into it. Marco says every week, I'm sure you say this every week, that they have a center forward problem. I think that's clear.
Where were the chances from any center forward in this half?
But they showed that.
Not even holding the ball. Like, the goal comes from, or the chance comes from Jonathan David giving the ball away in big moments. So they have a center forward problem. That's clear as day. But they really put a lot into today's game, and they deserve something more.
Inter's backup strikers are better than Juventus' center forwards. Pio Esposito would be a starter at Juventus.
The backup strikers of Inter are better than the starting strikers at Inter. That's true.
Listen, I agree with Marco. I think Marco makes a fantastic point. And the reality of it is, Juventus know that. You look at their recent January transfer window in the striker. They tried to get Mateta from Crystal Palace. They failed on that one. They need a striker. They need to address that problem by this summer now. They need to get someone for the future that they can truly trust into to develop, to add another real luxury piece, to add to Yildiz and build something. Yildiz, Kefa and Thuram, two great building blocks for Juventus, and Weston McKennie as well. You have to say Weston in there as well, because he had a great game for them as well. That's a great foundation of building blocks to build something for the future.
Do they still make top four with the team that they've got?
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone feels pretty comfortable now.
Especially what I'm seeing performance-wise from Spalletti, I think so. I think it's top four for sure.
Competitive in Italy because Roma's growing. Atalanta is also sneaking up there. We don't know if we're going to get 5 spots yet. It'll be decisive this week in Champions League. But I still think Juventus will be top 4.
Obviously, you mentioned Mateta. Do you think Spalletti has somebody in mind? Because Vlahovic has been the big frustration, hasn't he? And not only Vlahovic, but the amount of money that Juventus have spent on strikers over the last 4 seasons, and none of them to come to fruition. This one has to be right for them.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think for me, Mateta is, I maybe see him scoring goals. Is he the old Juventus of really having that real rounded jaw? I don't think so, no. I think Mateta misses too many chances for me from watching him in the English Premier League. He can be impactful in certain games. I still feel that, for me, the recruiting of who they pick is vital this season.
And Spalletti usually improves his center forward play. I believe he's coached 4 or 5 now, Capocannoniere, top goal scorers. strikers thrive under him. He doesn't love the qualities that he has in his center forward. I think it was you, Nige, that said it's kind of similar to Milan, where they've gone with their center forward play, where they're looking for opportunities, they're looking for solutions. Doesn't feel like they're bought in to one striker. There's nobody that truly convinces them. It's a very hard position to find, especially in Italian football, because they don't have the money to spend 70, 80 million, which if you want a top striker, you need to be really smart, really clever, and find an opportunity.
So the frustration for Juventus today, no doubt, was the missed chances, but also the Kalulu red card. Here's just a reminder of it, the 2 yellow cards, because we're going to show you what happened in the tunnel as well. Bastoni, you have mentioned.
Look at that. The Bastoni is telling the referee that's a booking, and they said that should not be allowed. That is something that Serie A should get involved in, to not want the league to be doing that and seeing that. Young kids are watching this.
So this is the video that was from the stands when the teams were going in at half-time. There's Luciano Spalletti, you can see, and Chiellini as well in there, arguing with the referee. Chiellini is heard screaming, "It doesn't exist."
I think Comolli was there as well, Juventus CEO.
Yep.
If you're a Juventus fan, though, you at least want to see that, like guys like Chiellini that are understanding the club, that are fighting their battle. It's clear that they feel hard done by. I mean, he has the Juventus DNA. He's played in this match. He's felt these battles before. I understand his frustration. Maybe it's technically not the best way that you're supposed to take it out, but I do understand him being...
You only want your manager to handle that. Your manager should be the one that's doing that. I understand Chiellini, but no, just, step back, go back under the tunnel where cameras can't film that. I understand the frustration. Like I said, I don't agree with it. I think it could have been a different result if it was 11v11. But I think that should have been handled differently.
What about the poll here, Grella? Second yellow card review, question mark. 84% of you on YouTube think, yes, it should be reviewable. 16% say no. I think the one caveat to that is we know how much time it takes to review things. If we add in this new layer, is it going to be changing?
It shouldn't take that time. It's the VAR, the referees in there should be able to see, OK, quick, no, Grella, you got that wrong. It doesn't take that long.
The world saw it. I never understand this either. We all saw it in 10 seconds. We were like, no, move on, we all lost today. The neutral fan lost today because we had, like I said, 42 minutes to one of the best games of the season. And we had a really good 45 minutes after that because both teams were going for it. Inter don't have many draws in the season because they go for it. Juventus, man, they showed something really special today, the strength of the group today. So we all lost. What would it take for 10 seconds to go look and say, no, there's no contact there?
But it's not always 10 seconds, is it?
It takes longer to take a free kick. Do you see how long they take a free kick, how much they line up for? I'd rather at least get the call correct. I think that's what we would all want.
Or what's the point of having VAR if the VAR referees don't trust each other enough relationship-wise for them to say to the referee, don't book him? They have the cameras there of all the angles where they can see it quickly and say, don't book him, or it's not a booking. Well, why can't they communicate in that way?
Sometimes surprising is that the referee gives the yellow card if they're unsure because of the situation that they can't review it. So when you see a yellow card given in that situation, you think the referee is 100% correct in his decision.
Well, he sees the arm go up, and he's at the speed of it, it looks like he drags him down. And I understand what Uncle's saying, why did he put his arm up there? But in the end of the day, he didn't do anything illegal. I think the referees are good. I think the technology is good. I think everybody wants the best for the game. But the triangle of the referees, the technology, and the rules, they need to be more on the same page. Because nobody knows what rule means what in what circumstance, depending on the VAR pictures we're getting. So, like I said, I feel bad for some referees. Yeah, they're getting some calls wrong, but they're getting put in a situation where they're looking at this thing in slow motion, and then there's like a rule book that doesn't make any sense, and they got to try to make sense of it on the fly. And it's not working at the moment.
I think, for me, the referees need to be given more responsibility and belief in themselves to go and ref the game, and then VAR should only be there to assist and help them. I think too many referees now are relying, like you said, on VAR, that, if I get this wrong, then VAR might help me out. And that's not going to work. Football is not a perfect game. We're trying to make it a perfect game, and now we keep causing ourselves these issues. I think if a referee goes out there, and you've had referees back in England and my time in England, where if we know Marco's refereeing, we could say, oh, he's going to give every little thing. So be careful. So you're more careful the challenges that you go. If it's Poppy, if it's you that's refereeing, and we know you let it go, oh, this is going to be a physical encounter. He's not going to give any cheap free kicks away.
She wouldn't
Players
see anything.
know that.
She wouldn't see any play. She'd be on her phone the whole time.
Here we go.
Refereeing the game.
But there's an element of that.
Not rising today.
That element gets built.
I'm proud of you.
I'm not even getting into it.
That element gets built when you give the responsibilities to the referees. So if Serie A encourages referees now to say...
Yeah, but you just said that you do want second yellow cards to be reviewed.
Yeah, that's something completely different. That's a different aspect. But I think that referees need to be given opportunity to referee more of the game and let the game be physical. Because the problem that's happening now is too many cheap fouls, too many players are cheating. Let's just put it out there. Too many players in Serie A right now are cheating with the diving. It's not good for the game, and it's not good for the future generation watching the game.
And then it hurts them when they go in Champions League, and none of those are called. Absolutely. This is something we've been saying for years. I agree with the boys. Just one thing. What do you guys think about the challenges? The idea that a coach could have the opportunity to say, you have to go to the monitor and review this play, no matter what.
The danger for that, for me, again, is you're taking more responsibilities away from the referees. I think we need to let the referees, give them that confidence and belief that you're in charge of this game, you're seeing it. If you make a mistake, then VAR can help him out more. I think now, too many referees, whether they want to admit it or not, have got the safety net of VAR's got my back. That's the problem.
The problem, though, is not just that. The problem is, even if we fix this VAR situation and we fix all the referees and all these things, and there's a challenge flag, we don't know what a foul is anymore. We look at a contact, the Vergara one, we know what if you speak to the best analyst in the world, 50 of them will tell you it's a penalty, and 50 of them will tell you it's not a penalty. How is that possible? How did we arrive here?
But maybe it's because it's been slowed down. So everything is in slow motion.
That's what I'm saying.
We got to
the point with the technology that we have. We don't know anymore what's a foul. But because we never saw it in slow motion.
I don't know if the referees understand either, because there was I was on Coppa Italia coverage.
They don't.
Provedel was inside the goal. And he made a save for the first penalty. He made a save. The second time, the referee said, no, that's against the rule. You have to stay on the line. And he didn't take back the goal. And now we're looking and saying, wait, he didn't follow the rules. So when do you interpret the rule? When do you not go by the rule? To me, that's madness. Something is wrong. We know that.
And it's the bigger shame, isn't it? Because then we have to sit here and talk about it when we've just had a 3-2 thriller in one of the biggest derbies of the season. We've got more to come after the break. What implications does this result have on the title race? Will it extend Inter's cushion at the top? But after Milan's win against Pisa, Milan have still got a game in hand. Welcome back, everybody. So here's a look at what happened yesterday. It was Pisa against Milan. Luka Modric earning the Rossoneri all 3 points, the Croatian legend, with the goal in the 85th minute. 2-1 it finished, leaving Pisa in even more trouble. Meanwhile, the game that's just finished, Zielinski with the winning goal for Inter against 10 men. Juventus, what a finish that was at San Siro. Inter 3, Juventus 2. And now that means they are 8 points clear at the top of the Serie A table. Milan still do have that game in hand. The Derby della Madonnina is coming up on March 8th, where the deficit could be slashed even further. Napoli and Roma 3rd and 4th as things stand. They will go face-to-face tomorrow. It's a long old stretch, though, for these two teams before that derby that is coming up. Here is a look at the matches. Inter have got the Champions League. They're away at Bodo Glimt on Wednesday in Norway. Our very own Nico Cantor is going to be there at the game. Then they've got Lecce before the sandwich of the Champions League, then Genoa. And let's not forget as well, they're still in Coppa Italia. For Milan, on the other side, it looks pretty sparse for them. Como on Wednesday, Parma February 22nd, and at Cremonese, who handed them their only loss of the season so far is still coming up. The viewer poll on YouTube is who wins the Scudetto. 66% of you still think Inter, 20% for Milan, and 14% of you think maybe somebody else.
They probably thought Napoli because of Marco.
For you on YouTube?
I logged in on YouTube on my
break.
iPad. Just kept voting for them.
Do you think they're pretty even odds, those 66? Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't. I think
that's too high.
Yeah, I think it's too high. I still am keeping Milan in there because we saw this last year. Napoli did the exact same thing. They had one game a week. Inter went very far. It'll be dependent on Inter go far. If Inter go out in Bodo, then okay, I would agree with that percentage. I think there are plenty of games to catch up. Milan also have the direct battle where they'll limit that in 3 points, and we'll be there. So we hope for like a really good spectacle. And no, I don't think it's done yet. I think I said it before. I think you're crazy if you count Milan out of the Scudetto race.
I love the way you just said if Inter go out to Bodo, the way Grella just looked at you with a side eye there.
I didn't even hear that part.
And you're saying she doesn't pay attention?
Sorry.
He doesn't even have a phone.
Grella doesn't know what happens. He just spaces out for a few seconds.
Do you know where you are right now?
Yeah,
Just checking.
yeah, I know.
Grella, do you like that 66%? Because you've got Inter as the favourites, right, to win the Scudetto. Have you got them that high?
It's probably a little higher, but it's
Higher?
Yeah.
You'd have it higher than that?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
would?
They have an
Wow.
8-point lead as we speak right now.
8 points is not a lot.
But
8 points is
Milan have
not
got
a
a game in hand.
Did you guys watch the last game against Pisa?
Yeah,
8 points is not a
And did you
lot.
watch the 20 other games before that of Milan play?
What about what you just said
Longest
about Inter,
unbeaten
though?
streak in Europe for Milan.
Unbelievable. Listen, for me, I think that's too high. I think 8 points in a title race is not a massive gap. And when you look at Inter, like Marco said, it depends on all the other competitions that they're still in. They're still in a lot where Milan, week to week, they're starting to find their groove. They're not the prettiest to watch, but they don't care. Guess what? They're second in Serie A and potentially could surprise a lot of people and win the Scudetto this year. And no one's going to say how ugly they were as a team or how unattractive their football is. They're Scudetto Italian champions from out of nowhere.
They have champions in their squad, by the way. They have Magnan, a goalkeeper who's, at least 10 points he's earned Milan this season. Modric, Rabiot, Leao, Pulisic are still not at their top level. So they have really dangerous pieces in key parts of the pitch, so I'm not ruling them out.
And Loftus-Cheek has just started to find his form again, and the manager has done it before. So I think that there's still going to be more twists and turns in this race as the season progresses.
What about the weaknesses that you picked out today then, Nige, where Milan, I suppose, could capitalise on
Well,
everything?
we know the power of Milan with the two wingers that they've got, and we talk about now Loftus-Cheek coming back into force. And this is just the goal that they conceded today, Inter. And it's Enrique there in the back, so just keep an eye on him there. The play's on the right-hand side for Juventus, but look at him. Square on, looking at the ball, not truly too aware of Cambiasso behind him there. Then he finally takes a look and he sees Cambiasso there, but then again, he gets caught there. Gets caught snapping, side on, Cambiasso makes a run. Whenever an attacking player sees the back of your shirt in a defensive position, you are dead. And that's exactly what happened there. Cambiasso saw the back of his shirt, he runs in front of him. Enrique has no idea where he is.
Okay, hold on. I agree. That's a good breakdown. I agree.
You back with us?
There's I'm here.
reconnected.
There's a difference between getting anticipated on the back post. This can happen. You get caught. You're in a position where you can't see the ball and you can't see the guy. So you see what happens. He takes a look, then he takes a look. You kind of lose track where the ball is at the moment, right? But when he takes a look, he sees Cambiasso there. So the difference between, you don't know someone's there and he anticipate you at the perfect timing, like some of the best strikers do in the score. There's another difference between he's trying to control the ball there. He doesn't even know he's in danger. It's like being on a house on fire and just being like,
I'm sorry. How can you not know in danger when you just said he turns and looks? From a defensive point of view, as a defender,
I want to ask him. Can we get him on here?
Someone's on your back shoulder there, you got to know and always know danger's there. The problem is he gets side on and he just gets caught absolutely napping. From that whole position, he should have always been side on because you know someone's there.
He's not even trying to clear. It's not like he's going to
you guys
clear
get up and
it.
show us.
No, but you understand what I'm saying?
Show us.
It's not like he's going to clear it. He's going to control it. He's like in the most relaxed position I've ever seen.
All right,
That's a big problem.
Let's go over there. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go over there.
You want to get up. You've been moving away from the table.
Come here, this way. Let's go here. Let's go here. Get the lights on.
What do you want to
the ball's on that part there, right?
Yeah. Hold on.
You're Cambiasso. I'm Enrique.
Okay.
Right?
And I'm starting here.
You're starting there.
Okay.
So if I turn and I see you there.
Correct.
A good defender's like this. Yes, the ball's on that side. I'm constantly like this.
Correct.
So if the ball comes, I'm still first to it to get there with taking that positive step. But as soon as I do that, and you can see the back of my shirt like Cambiasso does, and I'm just focused there,
Yes.
I'm dead.
Now let's switch spots. I'll be Enrique.
You guys need a ball?
I'm Enrique. I agree
Liverpool.
with everything you're saying. I'm Enrique, right? Now, the problem is I don't really need this ball, but the problem is as I'm in a bad position or whatever I'm doing here,
you're
right?
Square on.
Now, as you come in front of me, right?
I'm looking at the ball.
You come in front of me, you anticipate me. At least, even if I'm in a bad position, I'm doing everything wrong. At least I see you come. I try to touch you. I try to clear it. I try to slide. I try to do something. He's going like this, Nige. He's going like this. As you're anticipating me, he goes like this. He's in a position that he thinks he's going to control. He thinks he's going to control the football. Oh, I'm trying to get in the camera. He thinks he's going to control the football. And I don't know if he forgets. I don't know if he's schizophrenic.
But the whole conversation is, in those moments there, at the highest level, you cannot forget or know that there's an attacking player behind you. That's the big story of it. That's it. You can't forget. You just looked at him 2 seconds ago. You could not forget or try and take a touch. You've always got to think there's danger, especially where there's an attacking player behind you.
That's the point I'm trying to make. He doesn't even know he's in a danger. How can you not know that you're in the 6 and you think you're going to control the football? You're in big danger there. So,
production is asking me, what's that got to do with schizophrenia?
What is that, by the way?
Jesus.
Yeah, schizophrenia, I think it's like you see things that don't exist. Or you have split personalities.
You do that a lot. See things that don't exist.
Listen, maybe we could sign up 2 for 1. Me and Enrique.
All right, well, if you want to watch, obviously, Bodo against Inter in the Champions League, just a reminder, tune into Morning Footy, because as we mentioned, Nico Cantor, he is in Norway ahead of the big game. The entire Bodo Glimt population, by the way, could fit inside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We did it on the Europa League last year, so I'm guessing the same could be said for San Siro as well. We know they've given some teams a bit of trouble in the Champions League so far. Okay, stay with us. Loads more to come after the break. We're going to look ahead. Tomorrow, it's Napoli against Roma, another one that's huge for European football and Champions League places for next season. We'll be back in just a second. Welcome back, everybody. Matchday 25 continues tomorrow with another big one. We're going to the Maradona, where it's Napoli against Roma. Our coverage will begin for you at 2 o'clock Eastern, and it's a third against fifth now in the table. Only 3 points to separate the two sides. Who are you going for tomorrow, Marco?
The report is that McTominay will not be there for Napoli at this point, and Dybala probably for Roma. Very difficult match in an important moment. Roma has had the same problem Inter's had, where they can't beat the bigger teams. They only have the tie against Milan. I think it's going to be a difficult match for both teams.
Nige?
I agree with Marco, but I kind of favour Roma. Napoli are really defeated right now.
I like Roma. I like the project. Gasperini. I think the team is playing more like his team. I'm seeing more dynamic movements in the team, more offensive transitions, which were what you saw at Atalanta with them as well. But Napoli, difficult place to go and play, especially now they have one competition. They're going to be focused. They're going to be prepared for the game. That's what Antonio Conte does. But I think Roma can pull a draw there at the Maradona.
All right, that's going to be a great match tomorrow, isn't it? But for now, Inter are the ones with a full heart, and it has been heartbreak for Juventus today in Italy. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We've been happy to share football with you all day long. Lots of love to you all. We'll see you tomorrow.